Mickey Vitardi is our Parks and Recreation Director. Partnership with the schools, we were able to build a new pavilion at the Veterans Memorial Park, a new security system to make sure that the park's not being vandalized. We got the new Zamboni for the Reese Ice Rink. We started a program in 2008 called the Parma Pride Program, which is a really popular program and getting bigger to offer programs to our physically handicapped children. And it's a really great program. Mickey's done a great job with a number of volunteers, and it's really a heartwarming thing to be involved in, and I'm glad that the city has continued to put that on. In 2008, we were able to replace all the dasher boards in the ice rink through a grant, through the work of Representatives Tim DeGeeter, State Senator Miller. We were able to get lighting for the Mike Reese Ice Rink, and next year, the remainder of the grant will be for a new roof at the ice rink. And if you haven't been there in a while, you should go there. It's really in great shape. And I was there last week, and anyone who's a hockey mom or a skater, there's a lot of rave reviews. We were able to, in 2009, put some needed dollars into our park, Veterans Memorial Park. Some of these parking lots hadn't been done in 20 years, and we're going to try to find money to, make sure our recreation areas are safe and are respectable. We're currently down there dredging that lake. Director Higgins has some good stories about the dredging going on down there. We won't talk about those today, but these lakes, because of the silt that's been going into them, it's long overdue. Maybe we'll even have fish in there someday. We had over 8,700 participants in our recreation programs, which we're real proud of. Any Saturday morning, you can go in any of our parks and you see kids and moms and dads and coaches teaching the youth of our community the great things about recreation and the great lessons that you can learn. Our golf course is one of the only ones in the area that continues to operate in the black. It means we make money. And we put that money right back into the golf course. That's an enterprise zone. That money stays with the golf course, so we continue to make upgrades, whether it be cart paths or the building. Obviously, the building down the road, maybe in the not too far future, we're going to be looking to do some type of capital improvement with the building over there, the clubhouse, because it is probably about 80 years old and not in great repair. Anthony Zielinski is our city treasurer and has done a very good job. When the financial crisis hit, Anthony was very solid and good with the numbers. It's very hard to determine and forecast income tax when you have wild swings. And Anthony took a conservative approach and worked hand in hand with us to try to determine, and he was pretty much right on the money. And that's why he's forecasted flat for this year. And because of his good forecasting, it's helped us plan for the future. One of the things that Anthony's been doing the last couple of years is a career expo. The next one's going to be March 18th at the Smallwood Center. And it's to help people who are out there trying to find jobs in a tough job market and help them prepare. So Anthony, thanks for that. You can also file your income taxes online now, and that's a really good service for our residents as well, Anthony. Tim Dobeck, our law director and chief prosecutor. He's the city's lawyer, does a great job. We interact a lot, not because we get sued a lot, but because Tim and I, anytime we're ready to make a decision, we always bounce it off Tim to make sure that, we're doing things right. He's got a great staff. He's got a couple of new programs. One is a first offender program, which I think is just fantastic for nonviolent offenders to give them an opportunity, especially if they're young, to do community service and keep their record clean if they're a first offender. That's a great program, Tim. And also the bond forfeiture program for people who have failed to appear. It helps us recoup money to help pay for the court. This is something that we as an administration are very proud of. Parma has done very good with the stimulus dollars and the stimulus funding that came out about a year ago. Over the past year, we've received $3.3 million in grants from the Ohio EPA for sanitary sewer projects, $3.3 million in low-interest loans, $100,000 in what's called a JAG grant, Justice Assistance Grant, for technology and supplies at the police department, $77,000 to hire 2 dispatchers for 13 months, an additional $117,000 towards our block grant, which is about $1 million that Eric Tellerup runs out of community development, an additional $100,000 for Parma Public Housing. We also applied for and got a $715,000 grant from the Department of Energy. Now, most cities have taken these dollars and they've put them back into their city buildings. What we've decided to do is to put them out into the community for residents and businesses to help them upgrade with window installation, rebates for programmable thermostats, and loans for home insulation and more. And you'll be hearing more about that, but these dollars are going to go right back into the Parma community to help out our residents and our businesses, and we're really proud of that. We also got a $62,000 grant for computer-aided dispatch system. We acquired $986,000 for a 16-month program where we're going to go through, we're going to knock down vacant buildings, vacant houses, and we're going to clean them up. We're going to get the blight out of the neighborhood. We've already started that, and I'll talk about that. Just about a month ago, we received $53,000 to fund an additional police officer, and that's the officer that we're going to hire we're going to swear in next week. These are pending. We have an $800,000 earmark that's already in the federal bill right now for 2 sanitary sewer projects under the federal appropriations. We also have an earmark for $5.2 million towards Ukrainian village streetscaping through the federal transportation bill. Now, I'm not naive enough to think that we're going to get all that, but I think that's a pretty good start. We've also, through Representative DeGeeter's office, submitted a state capital budget submission for refurbishing of Memorial Hall, where we're going to try to do some work up there. If you've been there in a long time, it needs a lot of work. We've worked really hard through our grant writer, Shelley Cullens, our state reps, our engineering department, and our consultants to go after this money. And as a matter of fact, I'm planning a trip to DC in the next 2 months to lobby our representatives to make sure that these earmarks stay in those federal bills. Let's talk about economic development. You know, we hear about job losses and businesses closing, and for sure we have those issues, but there's a lot of good stories to tell. This year, we took the old, I can't think of the name of it, but it was in the Cleveland Growers building when Tops closed, and we worked really hard, and we worked with Mark's, who's headquartered here in Parma, and they took over, they bought it, and brought 100 new jobs, and they store all their produce there. So all your produce comes from Parma in the industrial park. Bartles and Busack bought the property at the old fire station. And as you know, it's a beautiful building. They brought some jobs here, and it's a property tax-paying building right now. Health Aid, we worked really hard. This is a company that bought a vacant building down at Brook Park in Tiedemann. They brought 90 jobs to the city of Parma, and they opened a couple of months ago. Key Bank added 150 jobs over in the Industrial Parkway as well. And Winston Product plans to add 50 jobs over the course of this year. Totally on the Industrial Park, we stand at about 750 jobs, and you know, that Industrial Park broke ground back in the mid-90s. I think I was a councilman, but Mayor Bolt and his administration put that deal together, and it's paid off for the city over the years. We also gave out $70,000 in low-interest loans to small businesses. One of our shining stars, Graphtech International, just received another Ohio Third Frontier grant for almost $1 million to develop lithium batteries. You know how we talk about fuel cell research and lithium batteries and energy. Graphtech is at the cutting edge of this stuff. If you ever get a chance to go there and get a tour of the facility, they're really at the front of this. On Wednesday of this week, the Planning Commission will meet and give the VA clinic the final approval for their proposal, and I'm told they want to do a groundbreaking in this spring. That'll bring about 200 new jobs by 2012 to the city of Parma, and that's going to be at the old, down near next to Gillingham Ford at the old driving range. Third Federal opened a new building on Broadview Road. Great looking building. As you probably saw today on Ridge Road, they closed their Ridge Road branch, and they're going to tear that building down, and they're going to build this same building at the 3rd Federal Ridge Road branch. So they've worked really hard to upgrade their facilities.